B is beer, C for cards, D for drugs test, E for egg. That's a Japanese masturbation tool for men. And then down the bottom we've got marijuana, which is illegal in this country. Gonna totally get raided. Although the weed seems to run out really quickly. So this is the painting room, and this is a new painting that nobody's seen yet, which I've been working on the last few weeks. And it's a painting of a 35mm slide that when my parents lived in America, you would take slides of places that they'd visit. And in the carousel, you'd get black slides and scratch the name of the place with a pin. You can see you get these weird colours through the emulsion that come through where the pin is scratched. For me, this is the perfect painting for my practice, because it's basically an image, but the image again is in the viewer's head. I found the studio because my wife found it on the internet, and it was a sports centre, like a leisure centre complex. So people got married here and people played badminton, and people actually still come with yoga mats on a Wednesday and say, we're here for the yoga. And I'm like, it's not a yoga studio. I mean, for me, this studio is a bit like heaven, because it's like going to art school again. You know, you only get to go to art school for 3 years. And I really loved being in art school. And all the other students seemed to be constantly going to the student union bar and getting drunk. And I was like, this is a joke. You've got this for 3 years. So I just spent all the time it was open in art school, like making the most of it. Because I honestly thought I'd have 3 years making art and then I'd go and get a job and I would never be an artist. I didn't believe that I could do this as a job. So to have an art school that's just yours, where you can do anything you want, whenever you want, is kind of mad. And then this is my office in here. It's a bit of a joke, me being a professor, because I don't feel like a professor at all, obviously. And the way that I get these onto the wall is this system over here. So I have, in each of these box files, there's a wad of photographs, and the photographs have post-it notes on. And each one of them is a starting point for an artwork, and I know what it is, but you probably, if you looked at them, you'd think it was something completely different, but each one is a work in itself. So these end up there, and those end up there, those end up there. So these are the hypercatalytic ones. And then it says Chronos and Kairos because there's a sort of thing where there's a box where there's ideas I would make if I had more money, and there's a box of ideas that I would make if I had more time, which are the two greatest values of an artist, right? In the physicality of putting paper clips and elastic bands and post-it notes and sorting them, and also thinking, actually, this idea is the same as this, and grouping them together, a lot happens cognitively. So the essence of the artwork builds itself during this sort of administrative process. So I do quite enjoy it. But I can spend days in here doing it, you know, just sorting photographs out and writing little notes on them. So I guess if I was working in London, I'd have a room this big. But I've got like a studio that's, I don't know, 50 of these rooms or something. But I can't go and get posh coffee. That's the problem. And then this way here is, it's a room where I do sculptures. This is Simon. Sorry. And this is an animatronic mosquito that is on a table that has a set of gold playing cards that I've designed on the other side. but it's a battery and a microprocessor and a magnet servo. This is like giving you the magic recipe, ruining the artwork, destroying it. The mosquitoes are 3D printed bodies with metal wire wings. They have real metal wire legs. Sorry, they have real wings which are pulled off a fly because wings are really hard to make. They're quite elaborate and small. So my father, in his garage, he has a strip light and all the dead flies collecting it. So my dad brought us a jar of dead flies, which stank. That's the box of dead mosquito witter flies. Flies. Sorry to involve you in the filming, Simon. So this is the old sports hall.
But we have lost ourselves. We've developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in.
So I also work as 7 different artists aside from me that are sort of fictional personas artists, and I've done that for about 15 years. And I make work as them, and I make work as myself about them. This is a portrait of Spencer Anthony around 1973. And he was the first fictional artist that I started making work as. This is a series of 25 exhibition posters that I've made, and each show is a fictional show. And some of them have my fictional artists in. And the reason that I do that is it gives me a chance to exercise agency and diversity. So I've done this for about 15 years. It's a bit like therapy. It's like having a device for art therapy for yourself to get the bad energy out, you know. Even bad art is good. Like Santo Stern's art is good, even though it's bad art. It's not about whether it's good art or bad art. It's about whether it stays in your head afterwards or not. This show's called, it's all typed up, Turbo Capitalism, and it's at Palais de Tokyo. This show is called Other Wild Things in the Morning Light, and it's at Hamburger Kunsthalle. This one's at Deer Beacon, and it's called A Note on the Text. It's beautiful to curate fictional shows. It's like the ultimate fantasy. It's like playing with Lego or Playmobil or pretending you're in a doll's house or something. It's just pure imagination, you know. Hi. We're filming, so if anybody's on a witness protection program, you need to hide your identity. So this is the shop. So everything in it is £10. Some things cost more than £10 and some things are less than £10. So it's just an average amount. And anyone can use it who visits the studio. If it works. Does it work? It doesn't work, it's broken. I like the grey, this mid-grey colour, because it's the colour that we spray things that we 3D print. So it looks virtual, it looks like a model. I love the idea that massive real things can just look like a simulation. This light here has got a question mark on the front, because I thought we probably needed some signage for the studio, but I didn't want to give too much information away. And I like that when people walk past, it's really ambiguous. It's like the huge grey building, and there's all these like hippie people there. What do they do in there? And then once a year, the 2 local schools, I get the kids to come on a visit and we show them round. And that is the funniest thing ever, because they're like, there's a talking mouse sticking out the wall, and they've got like, they can 3D print anything. It's like magic. I always think for them it's like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory coming for a visit. And it's nice because then they walk past with their parents and they say to their parents, those people in there are really interesting and not weird at all, don't worry. But yeah, there's a question mark on the front of the building when you come in, and there's a shh on the back when you leave. It's It's an artwork that I've done as a public sculpture before. This is like a prototype one. But it's a resin. It's a resin cast of a tent. So it looks like a real tent, but it's semi-transparent. So there's lights in it. And at night it glows like there's somebody inside the tent. It's like someone's been camping there now for 4 years. The gardener's really confused.